everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the weeks of June 22nd through July 5th. Today is Saturday, July 5th, and I've got a little bit to catch you up on. So I have finished a few things as far as reading goes. I have a finished object to talk to you about in the Yarnie update section. We'll chat about what I've been watching lately, and we'll wrap it up towards the end. So let's get into it. So I did finish a few things. Reading has slowed down quite a bit. And that's just because I'm not really home much anymore. I have been just exploring and being out and about, and I've been enjoying it. But it's taken time away from doing the things that I would do with that time, which would be either to read or craft or watch television. And so, yeah, reading has slowed down quite a bit, but I still was able to finish a few things. And so let's talk about that first. So I finished 3 more volumes of manga. I was able to finish a series in the month of June. So I finished That Blue Sky Feeling volumes 2 and volumes 3 by Okura, and this is art by Coma Hashii. These are published by Viz, rated teen. So this series follows our guy here whose name is, it starts with an N, Noshiro. He moves to the school and is pretty good about making friends. And he notices that there's a guy in his class that seems to keep to himself and doesn't really have any friends. And people have told him that that guy keeps to himself because he's gay. Well, Noshiro wants to make friends with him, and so he makes it a point to spend time with this guy, have lunch with him, include them in conversations and things like that. And slowly, as their friendship grows, Noshiro starts to realize certain things about himself. Let's just say that. This story was super cute. I really enjoyed it. Super wholesome as well. There are quite a few usages of the slur homo in here, which I didn't care for, but the story itself is very wholesome, very cute. You kind of know where this is gonna go from the get-go, and so it wasn't surprising to see the progression of how things went throughout the story. That being said, I did feel like the ending was just slightly unsatisfactory for me. It didn't have that, okay, this story is complete, I feel good about where we left our characters feeling for me. It definitely has a conclusion. It has a definite, way things are going to end up for our characters. But I would have liked to see a little bit more. And so that's just how the unsatisfactory feeling is for me. However, the story, like I said, super cute, super wholesome. There was a little bit of a questionable relationship in here, but on that note, I feel like the interactions within that relationship that are portrayed within the story weren't too not above board, I guess you would say. Definitely a questionable thing with that relationship, but I feel like how that character is included in the story plays a different role as far as how the story goes with our characters. I feel like that character kind of helps to push the momentum of the story, I think. And so I think if we had seen prior to where we start this story, things would have been even more questionable. But because it's in the past, at the point where we meet this character here, I didn't feel too icky about it, if you know what I mean. And like I said, I feel like he did act above board when we were with him. And yeah, I don't feel really icky about how he interacted with the characters, just what had happened previously. So yeah, it was a little bit weird having that one character, but like I said, I do feel like he was like a catalyst for this story, and kind of maybe like a mentor, or like a someone that the characters could turn to for advice, more than a character that probably shouldn't have been doing certain things when he was in the past. Let's just say that. I don't want to spoil anything in case you're interested in reading that, because like I said, this story I thought was super wholesome, super cute. Definitely know where this one was going, and I'm glad that we ended up with a pretty solid conclusion. I just personally am greedy and would have loved to see more after where this story ends. So I gave both of these volumes 4 stars. This is a solid 4-star series for me. We'll definitely be reading it again, and thanks to my friend Bizarre Individual for recommending this series to me. He talks about this series, or actually recommends it quite a bit, whenever he does his Pride Manga Readathon recommendations videos. So that's what prompted me to pick up this series, and I'm glad I finally was able to read it. And so definitely happy to have started and completed that series in the month of June. And then the other volume that I read was volume 2 of The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All by Sumiko Arai. This one is published by Yan Press, rated teen. So this one follows our girl here on the cover. Her name is Aya, and she likes a certain type of music, but her friends don't like that type of music, so they can't like connect on that, and she doesn't feel comfortable like sharing her love of this certain genre of music with them. And so she kind of keeps it to herself, and then as she's walking one day, she hears like her favorite genre of music coming out of this music store. And so she goes in and is immediately captivated by the guy that's behind the counter. Well, the guy behind the counter is not a guy at all. It is actually one of her female classmates. And so these two end up bonding over their love of this certain genre of music. And we kind of follow them getting to know each other more and becoming closer and things like that. I really enjoy this series so far. The usage of this green color is very prominent throughout, so you get the black, the white, and the green with the gray shades and things like that, so it makes it a really interesting read visually. But I will say that this volume did have second volume syndrome for me, or second installment syndrome as far as like novels go, because this one had much more like over the top moments. And you know, you've heard me talk about this quite a bit lately about how I'm not enjoying that type of reaction in things that I read so much nowadays. And because we're seeing it in a manga form, there's lots of like text bubbles. And so when things like that happen, there were a lot of like overlapping text bubbles or tons of text bubbles within the panel. And so it makes it really kind of chaotic. And you're supposed to feel that, but I don't enjoy reading that. Like, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of that. I would say more throughout the first part of this volume than there was towards the end. But I still enjoyed watching our characters get to know each other. Their backstories are being known to each other and things like that. The friend group is coming together as well, with Aya's other friends and other classmates kind of like getting together and doing more friend group things together, which is really nice to see. And so yeah, definitely enjoyed this one. Gave it 4 stars, but I will say that this one was not as good for me as the first volume. So that's all of the manga that I read in the month of June, or all of the manga that I had read at the end of June. I did finish my audiobook, which is Single Player by Tara Tai. So this is a sapphic romance, kind of enemies to lovers, about 2 women in the video game development sector. And we follow a woman who was hired to kind of write the romantic dialogues for characters that are being developed in this video game, and another woman who's developing the video game, who has kind of a controversial past because of another game that she worked on previously and backlash that had erupted out of something that had happened with that. And the two of them kind of clash at the beginning because the woman who's developing the video game doesn't think that there is any need to have any like romantic pairings or anything like that within the game. But then you have the woman who was hired to do this, and that's kind of her like forte. And she feels like she's being disregarded and things. So it kind of follows the two of them clashing heads, but learning to understand where each of them are coming from and eventually, getting to know each other better. Lots of video game talk in this one. There is mentions of other games that the characters play. They do Dungeons and Dragons, which was interesting to read about. And I ended up really enjoying this one. I listened to it all in audiobook. I borrowed it from Hoopla. This was something that I had read about in an article or something at the beginning of June or at the end of May. And I thought, oh, that might be interesting. Because I definitely find that I reach for boys' love more than I reach for girls' love. And so I'm constantly looking for other like girls' love stories to read. And you even notice it with the manga that I read. I read a lot more boys' love than I do girls' love. And so I'm trying to like read more girls' love. And I tried to make it a point at least every June or Pride Month to read more girls' love. And so this one I thought would be interesting for me because of the video game aspect. I do play video games, and so I thought it would be interesting. The video game that's being developed is much more like a visual novel because of like the romantic pairings that you could work towards in the game that they're developing. And they go to a con. Like I said, they play Dungeons and Dragons. There's talk of other video games that are played and things like that. And it was really, really fun. So I enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars. And I'll definitely be looking out for more of this author's work. I don't believe there is anything out right now. I believe this was the author's debut novel, but I enjoyed it. Asian characters, and we'll definitely be checking out more of the author's work as it gets released in the future. So that was really good. I'm reading one book right now. I decided to pick up The Red Scrolls of Magic, which is by Cassandra Clare and is it Wesley Chu? Yes, this is the first book in the Eldest Curses. Yes, Eldest Curses series in the Shadowhunter world. This one is focused on Magnus and Alex's kind of like relationship and adventures together. And I am listening to this on audiobook because the audiobook is read by B.D. Wong. And so I definitely have been wanting to get back to the Shadowhunters world. I've only read the first 2 series, the Mortal Instruments series and the Infernal Devices series. Those were the only 2 that I've read. I've always meant to go back to the Shadowhunters world, but I just have been reading other things. And so I thought it would be a good idea to visit this series because it does have story including Magnus and Alex and their relationship, and read by B.D. Wong. I really, really enjoy watching B.D. Wong when he's in shows or movies. And so I thought, why not have him narrate me an audiobook? And so I'm enjoying it a lot. I am about 70% in through this one. This one follows Magnus and Alec on vacation in Europe, and something from Magnus's past rears its ugly head. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm enjoying the atmosphere and the adventure that they're on. There have been some hair-raising moments. There have been fight scenes and things like that. And it's just been a really enjoyable read. It did take me a little bit to just like get back into the feeling of the world and things like that. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. And so I'm really glad to be back in the Shadowhunters world. As far as my Shadowhunters journey goes, I don't think that I will be reading the historical ones. I will say that I didn't really enjoy the Infernal Devices because I don't enjoy historical stories. There were other things that I didn't enjoy about the Infernal Devices, but mostly I don't enjoy stories set in history. I don't enjoy the setting. I don't enjoy the dynamics. I don't enjoy, the dialogue and the language that's used, and it just doesn't click with me, and so that made it not as enjoyable. So I'm thinking that I'm just going to read the ones that are set in the present day. I don't know how that's going to affect my reading experience of this series, but that's my plan for right now. So I think what I want to do is continue with the Eldest Curses. After I finish this one, maybe read the second one. I may try something else before I come back, just so that I'm not so tied into one series at one time. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that kind of a reading experience right now, but I know there are 2 books out in this series, and I think I saw that there will be a 3rd one coming out soon. And so I think I will probably read the 2 and then go into the Dark Artifices series. That's my plan anyway. So yeah, at least as far as my series read through of the Shadowhunters, I really enjoyed the first 6 books. I did enjoy reading the Infernal Devices, but it's just not my favorite, and it's not my thing. And the older I get, the more historical books or books set in historical times bother me, even if it is Shadowhunters. And so I think it's just a better idea for me to skip those and just go into the ones that are set in the real world. In the present day, not the real world, So, yeah, that is all I'm reading so far. That's all I've read. And so now I guess it's time for another Yarnie update. Okay, so I have a finished object. I did have a finished object. I made it a point to finish this early this morning so that I'd have it for you to share. And so I did finish my Gemini by Jane Richmond. So you can see I have one sleeve here and I have one sleeve here. So it is a fully complete top, all done, all weaved in. The only thing it needs is a bath. And so this is a free pattern on the Knitty website. Like I said, Gemini from Jane Richmond. And it's Gemini because you can either wear it this way with the nice patterning on the top here in the front, or you can turn it around and have just this little sleeve kind of patterning like this, and have the nice cage kind of design in the back. I will probably be wearing it this way more often than not. I don't even know that I would wear it the other way. I just really enjoy the look of this the way it is. Now, I did try it on last night after I finished it and weaved in all the ends and stuff. It is very good length. The sleeves are a little wide. They are a little wide, but they are the perfect length. I think I probably should have tapered them just a bit, but I'm still very happy with how it fits. It still looks good. There's a little bit of a ruffly, ripply kind of look to the sleeve ends, but that's okay with me. Like I said, this fit perfect. It was the right length. The sleeves, even though they're a little bit wide, looked great, and they come down my arm to a point where I'm very happy with the length of the sleeve. And I think this is definitely going to be something that I wear a lot. So yeah, Gemini by Jane Richmond, free pattern on the Knitty website. I knit this in Knit Picks Cotton DK in the color Swan, and I'm very, very happy with this. So like I said, I finished this very early this morning, so I did not cast on my new tank top, and that is still the plan for me. My plan is still to cast on that tank top. As you know, I did start working on the Ridgecrest pullover for my daughter, so that will probably also come into the rotation, just depending on what I'm feeling like and the type of knitting time that I have, because like I said, I am out and about more often nowadays, and so there's not as much knitting time as there was before. Plus the job is still in limbo at the moment, and so things are still unsettled for me. And so yeah, that's the only knitting update I have for you. I normally do try to focus on like sock week project, which is something that Nitty Natty hosts every July or so. It started out coinciding with Shark Week, but I think now she's just doing it on her own like week, because Shark Week always changes. It's never the same week every year. I'm really looking forward to Shark Week. I believe it's on July 20th this year through the 26th. Always enjoy Shark Week. I definitely have Shark Week themed socks on the needle, so I will probably strive to pull those out this month to hopefully finish. Not necessarily during Sock Week, but it's something that I will try to work on because it is shark themed. And so yeah, going back to shark themed things though, I always try to read some shark themed books as well, so you'll probably see something like that pop up this month also. But yes, enjoy Shark Week, enjoy watching all the documentaries and things like that. And so really looking forward to that. And I think that's all that I have as far as plans. Knits, the Ridge Crest pullover. I'm going to cast on that tank top sometime. It'll probably be cast on by the time I talk to you next. And then work on that Shark Week sock. I don't think I even finished the first sock last year. So definitely want to at least finish that sock this month. And maybe start the next one. Or maybe finish both socks. We'll have to see. I definitely have some unfinished socks that I need to work on. So that would definitely help dwindle down my WIP pile. But for now, very happy with my Gemini. Definitely recommend if you're interested in trying a shirt like this. It was a really good pattern. Very easy instructions. The instructions do say to size down for a more fit around like your chest area. But I went with my normal size that I would go for, and I'm very happy with the fit. So yeah, just wanted to say that, and very happy with my finished object. So that's everything for the Yarnie update. I guess we'll talk about what I've been watching lately. We are very excited for the Jurassic Park movie. The Jurassic Park movie came out this past week, and so we're waiting a little bit for the crowds to die down before we actually go see it at the theater. But we've been watching the other movies at home because, of course, I own them. So we watched Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, and Jurassic Park 3. Really enjoyed those rewatches. We're taking a break from watching Jurassic Park because the next movie we're actually going to watch in theaters is How to Train Your Dragon. And so we watched the animated film How to Train Your Dragon last night. I think we're going to do How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 3 before we go see the How to Train Your Dragon movie in the theater. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for that. And then I think the week after that, we're going to go see Jurassic Park Rebirth. I think that's what the new one's called. So after we do the How to Train Your Dragons, we'll be watching Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom, and Jurassic World 3 Dominion. And so very excited for those. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've been watching lately. We did go visit another arcade, and I did take some footage to hopefully post on our gaming channel, my daughter's and mine. But I was trying out some lapel mics, and it like distorted the sound really bad, so I can't really use the footage for the gaming channel. I did post the footage of the gameplay for Gold Railroad, which is the game that you saw me playing in the last diary entry. The full game video for that has gone up on our gaming channel. So if you're interested in watching that, I'll link it in the description box below. But while I've been talking, I'm sure you've been watching my gameplay that was unusable for our gaming channel. This is the Marvel Avengers coin pusher. And so it's one of the ones that we really enjoy. I find that we enjoy more often than not the coin pushers that have card collecting elements to it, because you always get bonus like tickets for the card collecting. This particular one has kind of a lot going on with it. There's a little bit of like a SpongeBob SquarePants, the coin pusher, with like the Spider-Man type coin pusher element, and I really enjoy playing this one. You got some, like, they call them infinity stones on field, plus the cards that you can collect, so lots of ways to get tickets and things like that, and I just really enjoy that one. So yeah, unfortunately the footage was not able to be used on our gaming channel, but hopefully I'll have another gameplay sometime soon to be able to go up on that channel. I don't know, I kind of feel uncomfortable still, like, trying to film gameplay at the arcade. I know a lot of people do it because there's a lot of gaming like channels out there, arcade game channels. I don't know, I feel really weird about it, even though I've been like on this channel for a long time. I don't do a lot of out and abouts, right? And when I do, I don't know, I just feel like I'm a bit more comfortable doing that because I'm like out and about and not necessarily in like a place where there are a lot of other people, and usually there are other people around when I'm playing my coin pusher. And so yeah, there are definitely some other coin pushers that we've been interested in. That day that I had filmed, I had actually tried to film a different one, but we were kind of plagued with the machine breaking down on a lot of the games that we were playing. Lots of error messages. The techs had to come out and fix them, and so it was kind of unfortunate, and probably that should have been the indicator that it wasn't the day to try to film gameplay. But you know, it was a day where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and so I figured I better like try at least. So unfortunately it just didn't work out, but at least you get to see some of the footage I took, and so I hope you enjoyed that. But yeah, we're still really enjoying arcade hopping, playing our coin pushers and things like that. It really is helping my kind of stress level, my anxiety about my job not being settled yet. I was told that they got permission for me to move immediately to the new department, but that was 2 weeks ago, and so I have no idea what immediately means to them. There is something kind of big happening at the office in a couple weeks, so not the week that you're seeing this, but the week after that. So I think maybe they're waiting until after that happens to move me over, but that's still a ways off for me. Plus there's a lot of like unknown about what exactly this new department is expecting of me and how things are gonna work. And you know, I just got our new like co-worker, and she's still settling in, right? So things are just really uneasy. And so I'm just like letting myself enjoy what I can enjoy, and we'll see how this goes. I feel like I'm not really gonna be settled even in my new position when I get there for a few months. And so yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. Summer temps have definitely settled in here. We're definitely going to be into the mid and high 90s over the next week. So yeah, not my favorite, you know that, but it's all right. I'm just enjoying what I can day by day, and I think that's all I can do right now. That's the best thing for me. And yeah, so I've been enjoying my reads, even though it's like a slower pace than usual. Been enjoying what we've been watching. I've been enjoying what I've been knitting on when I can knit on things. Been enjoying playing video games and coin pushers. and just trying to enjoy as much as I can and not let work take over my life. Because I will have to say that I have been very, very bad about that. I've kind of always grown up trying to not be a workaholic like my dad. My dad was the biggest workaholic ever. Like, he would even work on the weekends. It really bothers me when I'm not supposed to be working and people ask me to work, especially now because I'm not salaried anymore. I went back to hourly because of this whole thing about legal stuff and my title and things like that. They had to change my title because they couldn't keep that title or whatever reason. I have no idea. It's kind of one of the catalyst things that have made me take this new position, because I will go back to being salaried, which I much prefer. There are definitely its down points to being salaried, but for me, the down points don't outweigh the good points. So we'll just have to see about that. But anyway, definitely trying to balance out my work life and my non-work life. That is a big goal of mine this year. And so I'm hoping that these changes that I'm making with my job, with my position, and other things that I've been doing, like getting out of the house more, will help me just feel less stressed, feel happier, and I think that's the goal, right? So I think that's pretty much all that I have to share with you this week. Not too much, but I had a lot of fun over the last couple weeks. I didn't get to participate as much as I would have liked with my From Bizarre Individuals Pride Margaritathon, but there is always next year. And so I think that's pretty much all I have to say today. Let me know down in the comments below what you've been up to, what you've been working on, what you've been watching. Are you planning to watch any movies in the near future? Have you watched any good movies lately? You planning to go see Jurassic Park or How to Train Your Dragon? I would really love to know. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me some kind of, is there a dragon, down in the comments below? If not, any kind of like fantastical emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated. That would really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy, and until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.